Good afternoon, good morning, and good night. I've got 12 on the East Coast. It is Thursday, June 4th. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Up to Speed Live today. Joining us today will be Krista Bourne from our Verizon Consumer Group, talking about retail strategy and some other things going on with her team. Before we go into Krista, though, I want to thank her again for being part of our panel discussion earlier this week, sharing those real-world, real-life experiences and conversations that she's had personally along with our other panelists, talk about how we can all help change the current environment that we're in and how important that is. I just want to share a few employee comments before we get to Krista. Mike, if you want to go ahead and take that first slide there. This came from Twitter. English9 English said, "Krista, that was so powerful. Thank you so much for helping me to understand the fear as a mom." Janet down in Virginia said, "It was refreshing to see our leaders be so transparent, empathetic, all while offering solutions to get us through these turbulent times. 28-year employee, I'm proud to be an employee addressing such a difficult topic successfully." Finally, this one coming in from Twitter. "So proud of Verizon and the response of our leadership to confronting racism and racial divide in our nation, but more importantly, having a conversation, letting their heartfelt emotions to be seen and stories to be heard." Thank you all for sharing that. And again, thank you all for tuning in. All of the resources, and if you want to watch replays of that, all available on InsideVerizon.com. And coming up tomorrow, my teammate Diana will be talking to Willie Jackson for Wellness Friday. And in light of all of the pain in America right now, talking about going further than just being an ally. It's about being an accomplice and helping so many folks at this time. So tune in tomorrow at noon for that. Now, Krista, I want to go over to you. In so many ways, your team has been impacted this week. How's the retail team doing right now?
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy, and thank you for the kind comments at the opening. And the employees that have responded have been incredibly kind, very thoughtful, very appreciative. And I think our retail employees are in the same boat. I think all of our employees are in that boat. We're all feeling the need to do our part to support one another. We want to make sure we stay safe in doing so. And so we are working together to do just that, make sure we make room for the emotions we have right now and that we're prioritizing the safety of all of our employees. But we're resilient, as we always are, and they are working together harder now than they've ever worked before.
Good. Now, I know Hans has said throughout the pandemic that it's important for us to stick to our plan, stick to our strategy, stick to our business. You're talking today more about our retail strategy. Tell us more, please.
Yeah, so I am happy to do that. So let me walk through, and I do want to start by just acknowledging all of the work that our sales organization has done over the last 90 days, and really all of our V-teamers in total. When you think about what we've experienced, we went into this global pandemic and we realized we had an emerging need in customer service and telesales and our conferencing centers. And thousands of you answered the call and took us up on an opportunity to do temporary work from home assignments. And that was no small task, and it was a great example of who we are as a team. When our indirect teams could no longer do on-site visits, that didn't stop us from wanting to provide support to our agents and our partners. So you shifted, you adjusted, and you went into a virtual visit program, which has been very, very helpful. And then when you think about our residential teams, when we couldn't knock on doors and we couldn't go on site to install customer home internet connections, we innovated again. And we came out with Fios in the Box, and we used our TechC app. That is true innovation in the moment when we needed it most. And then when you think about our customer service and telesales and those that work in business offices, it felt like overnight we transitioned to work from home. And that was something for some of our teams that was new. Telesales in particular had not been working from home, and we were able to make that happen very quickly. None of that occurs without patience, teamwork, thoughtfulness, and innovation. And all of it was recognized by Forbes, as we were recently recognized as being the #1 corporate responder in the pandemic. And while that's great, and I'm not surprised, what I also know is that's not why we did those things. We did those things because we have always run to a crisis. We did those things because we have always shown up when customers needed us. We did those things because we always look at the trends happening around us and try to figure out what more we can do to provide and streamline better experiences, not just for customers, but for employees. And so while Hans talks about keeping our strategy and moving the business forward at the same time that we make room for the real life things that are happening around us, I am very, very happy to share the journey we're on and will continue to build. So why don't we go ahead and play the video, and then I'll come back and give more details.
A perfect shopping experience would be I could do the majority of my shopping online.
A one-click checkout is like my best friend. I love it.
Targeted ads and like giving me recommendations on things that I would actually like.
Online subscriptions that come in right to my door.
Mobile order pickup is probably one of the best in-between technologies we could have.
If I could online order in the store, right, so I could try it on and then I could order right there too. That would be super convenient.
More of the country is closing down tonight, trying to contain the coronavirus pandemic.
Health officials now say communities should be ready to take drastic measures.
Customers want choice. They want a quality experience. And no matter if they go to a store, the website, or over the phone, they want a quality experience that respects their time in that process. And we've heard that there's just no one size that fits all. So that's what brings us here today. As our goal continues to be the same, bringing a world-class, best-in-class experience to customers and enabling that through omni experiences that are absolutely meaningful to the experience customers expect from a premium provider. In order to accomplish that, we really feel like we need to further break down our silos and align as one team with one common goal to truly show up as one Verizon, an organization that is obsessed with delivering the best-in-class customer experience everywhere. So beginning today, we are moving away from our three-area structure into one consumer group. This one consumer sales organization will be made up as following. Strategic operations will continue to be run by Robin Parks. Field operations will be run by Matt Carr. Strategic sales will be run by Brian Pasco. Within strategic sales is telesales, residential, and our national relationship with indirect. And then our consumer field sales will be led by Kevin Zavagula in the interim. He is right now our East Area President, and he will serve as that consumer field lead through the rest of the year. John Granby and Jonathan LeCompte will move into strategic advisory roles, serving the business in other ways through the rest of this year. Our current retail vice presidents will become consumer sales vice presidents in their 6 regions. And the retail directors and indirect directors will report directly into our consumer VPs. This team is going to ensure further alignment towards our common goals. So again, our retail vice presidents will become consumer vice presidents. The retail directors and the indirect directors will report to the consumer vice presidents. The consumer vice presidents will report to Kevin in the consumer field role that I just described. Telesales will continue to operate as they are now, working from home through September, and our support teams like finance, learning and development, HR, TAT, network, those structures will stay as they are today. Team, I can't tell you how excited I am for the one team structure, because it's important that we move to scale, that we move our strategy with speed, and that we do so as a single team. I'll tell you, though, that we cannot deliver a best-in-class experience for customers without a best-in-class experience for employees. So I want to talk to you about what's in it for you. So a few things. Let's start with compensation. We are evolving compensation for retail, telesales, and our indirect teams to reflect the omni capabilities we are building and the experiences that customers expect from each channel. In retail, we're going to introduce our new experience-based compensation plan. This plan is designed to empower and reinforce the behaviors that drive best-in-class, world-class experiences. As part of this new compensation plan in retail, you'll see more of your total targeted compensation guaranteed through your base pay, ensuring more predictable income for our retail professionals. Again, you'll see more of your total targeted compensation guaranteed through your base pay, which will give you more predictable income. Another important element of this plan for our retail team is the introduction of team performance measurements, which aligns with our one team aspiration. When customers visit a store, everyone in the store makes a difference. The teamwork being displayed matters, the energy level, the cleanliness of the location, all of that makes an impression, and all of that goes into creating a world-class customer experience, which is why I believe it's important to introduce performance measurements in our retail channel. And as some of you know, we've had a variety of compensation pilots over the last several years. Through each pilot, we learned a lot about how compensation is part of a system, which is why we've made changes to our coaching models, our recognition programs, reporting tools, all intended to better align how we operate our stores and how we compensate our teams. Again, with a goal of creating a world-class, best-in-class customer experience. For those who enjoy individual quota goals, we ask you to consider becoming a part of our growing telesales team. In telesales, you too will see more of your total targeted compensation guaranteed through base pay, but you will remain on an individual quota structure. For our indirect teams, we've been working through model enhancements over a series of years, and we are now going to move from a commission-based sales model to a short-term incentive model, and in the process, increasing your guaranteed base pay as well. This is in order to better align with the job responsibilities of this group. We see that you spend most of your time providing support to our agents and providing account management. We feel is well served in an STI, short-term incentive model. So now let's talk about work-life balance. And as you all know, we take a lot of surveys and we find a lot of ways to collect feedback. And most recently, as we go through our pulse survey process, we've heard from you in our retail channel the need for more flexibility, more choice. So I'm very happy to share with you two enhancements. One is a new set of schedules that you can consider. So we'll continue to have our 40-hour schedule, but we'll also introduce two part-time schedules, 32 hours and 24 hours. All of those come with benefit packages that have changes that are different than the 40-hour package, but we'll be able to walk you through those details when you meet with your leaders after this call. For our retail employees that currently work in a 40-hour schedule, if you are interested in a 32 or a 24-hour schedule because things are changing around you every day, your situation is different today than it was when you got hired, you should know you have an opportunity to opt into one of these options if it works best for you. For our current part-time employees, you'll be asked to choose one of those two shifts, 32 or 24. I'm also happy to tell you about a scheduling tool. As you know, we've been digitizing our workplace for a long while. So if you've been here long enough, you might remember My Verizon Express, or maybe you remember the days of tracking email capture, or perhaps VCast Music. All of those were moments where we played in the digital space. And I'm really excited to offer yet another digital moment. This is a digital tool designed for our retail team to help support their needs around shifts and scheduling. So we're introducing a new scheduling system that will allow our retail teams to have more advanced scheduling notice. They'll be able to use the shift marketplace to swap shifts with their coworkers and basically have more control over the shifts you work, all from a digital tool that's designed just for you. And as I mentioned earlier, we've learned from our previous experiences that we need to care for the entire system. So we will also be introducing a new Earn the Right sales model that is simpler and is more human in nature, designed to really meet customers where they are. We're also implementing our Grow employee development program and updating our 2020 performance goals to align with all that I've just shared. There are so many updates and so many great details that I want to make sure you get all the answers that you have for the questions that you're having in your mind right now. So your directors will be reaching out to you this afternoon to set up some meetings with you all to talk through what One Team means to you specifically. It's important that as excited as I am and as the teams might be, that we make room for you to learn what it means to you specifically. So please anticipate that's coming your way soon. You'll get a moment where you'll get an invite and or you'll get a events notification, so you'll see when those meetings are taking place. And I want to make sure that you take that time to ask every question you have so we can make sure we give you the answers that you need. So just to recap, we have introduced One Team structure, more predictable income for retail, telesales, and indirect, 2 part-time shifts for retail, 24 and 32 hours, and a new scheduling tool. And again, as excited as I am for all of these changes and as proud as I am for the team that helped build this plan, I recognize that change can be difficult. For some, it represents the end of something and the beginning of something new. And to help with this transition, we will need to stay more connected now than ever. So again, you will hear from your directors and your VPs, but I also made the choice to offer this information publicly here today because I want to make sure everyone knows the intent behind these changes, the purpose behind these changes. And it really is to make sure we lean in on an incredible customer experience fueled by an amazing employee experience. That's what we're trying to achieve here. So we'll also have a series of conversations and connections that I'll hold, so that I can still hear from you directly as we go through these changes, what questions you have, what ideas you have, and what support you need. That first session will be held on Tuesday, June 9th at 3 p.m. We also ask that you send questions to oneteam@verizon.com, where we can collect your thoughts and make sure we're giving you the answers that you need. Team, I'll leave you with this because I've said a lot here this afternoon, but I will leave you with this. I have been at Verizon for over 20 years. And I have seen a lot of change, and I have lived through a lot of models that we have been a part of. I have never been more excited for this moment. I have never believed more in this program as I have believed in any program. We are capable of doing amazing things, and we have shown that to ourselves, to our customers, and to our communities over our years, but certainly over the last 90 days. I know with One Team, there is nothing we can't do. So I thank you for your time today, and I look forward to hearing from you as we go through this journey together. Back to you, Jeremy.
Krista, thank you so much, and thanks for everything you and your team are doing. Like Krista said, if you have questions about this, you can you can email oneteam@verizon.com to get more of that, to get some of your questions answered. And like you said, look for other invites coming your way for other information sessions as that goes on. So want to plug ahead to tomorrow. Reminder, our Wellness Friday will feature a conversation about being not only an ally, but an accomplice, and also something for our folks to look out on along the Gulf Coast. There's a tropical storm out there, Krista Bourne, right now. So our teams are already putting plans into place as to how to support that. And be ready for our customers down there along the Gulf Coast if that presents issues. But now's the time to prepare for that. So we'll be back with you again tomorrow at noon. Krista, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, you're up to speed.